All right, let's break down some absolutely incredible insights from Stanford's Dr. Jang. We're going to tackle a question that's on pretty much everyone's mind. How do we not just survive, but actually thrive in a world that's being completely reshaped by artificial intelligence? So let's kick things off with a pretty stark reality check. For some jobs, hiring a person can cost 5 times more than just using a robot. I mean, that's a huge difference, right? And it's one of the key things driving the massive changes we're seeing in, well, just about every industry. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie scenario we need to get ready for someday. The core message from Dr. Jang is that the AI revolution isn't coming, it's already here. We're living in it right now. And it's changing everything from science to the classroom. So, to get our heads around this, we're going to look at it in 4 parts. First, we'll face the fact that AI is already here. Then, we'll get to know this new tool, what it does and what it doesn't do. After that, we'll dive into how we can unlock our uniquely human skills, and finally, what all this means for how we need to learn. First up, AI is here. For a lot of people, when you hear AI, the first reaction is, well, it's fear. And that fear makes us want to avoid it, to just kind of put our heads in the sand. But that might just be the biggest mistake we can make. But what Dr. Jung says is we've got to totally reframe that. AI isn't some enemy we need to be scared of. Think about it. This could be one of the most powerful tools humans have ever invented. The choice isn't really about whether AI will be used. It's about whether you're going to be one of the people who knows how to use it. Okay, so if we're going to use this tool, we've got to understand it, right? We need to know what it actually does. And that all starts with figuring out how AI thinks. In the beginning, AI was pretty basic. It just followed a set of rules a human gave it. But that's not what we're dealing with anymore. Today's AI is completely different. It uses things like deep learning to sift through enormous amounts of data, way more than any person could, and it finds patterns and the best solutions all by itself. And this slide, wow, this just lays it out perfectly. It shows the fundamental difference between us and AI. We humans, we're innovators. We create something new out of nothing. That's going from 0 to 1. AI, though, it's an optimizer. It takes that 1 and makes it a 100. It makes what already exists better, faster, and more efficient. Okay, want to see what that optimization looks like in the real world? Look at this number, 200 million. That's about how many different types of proteins there are, and figuring out what they all look like is one of the biggest challenges in science. For decades, literally decades, scientists had painstakingly managed to map out less than 1% of them. It was this slow, grueling work. And then AlphaFold, an AI from DeepMind, comes along. In just 2 years, it predicted the structure of nearly all of them. That's not just faster, that's a complete game changer. It's the perfect example of AI's power to optimize. So, the takeaway here is just so clear. We should let the machines handle the heavy lifting, the optimization, the number crunching. That frees us up, our minds, to do what we humans do best. Ask the big questions, ask why, and create the next new thing. Okay, so if our big advantage is creativity and innovation, that leads to a huge question, right? Is that something you're just born with? Some kind of magic spark for the lucky few? Or can you actually learn how to be innovative? Well, for ages, the thinking was that creativity was just magic. You either had it or you didn't. But Stanford came along and basically said, nope, we can teach this. And they developed a process called design thinking. It's a way to turn innovation from a random accident into a repeatable skill. It's a 5-step process, pretty straightforward. But the one we're going to focus on, the one that kicks the whole thing off, is the most human part of the entire thing. Empathize. Genuinely understanding the people you're trying to help. And there's a great story from one of Dr. Jiang's classes that shows this perfectly. The project was to help newborn babies in rural Nepal, and the goal seemed pretty obvious. Design and donate better, more modern incubators. But here's the key. They didn't just start drawing up blueprints in a classroom in California. No, they went to Nepal, they did that first step. Empathize. And what they found completely changed everything. Turns out the hospitals already had incubators, expensive ones too. It turns out the real problem was that most families lived miles and miles away from the city. They couldn't get there. And even if they could, the local staff struggled to operate and maintain these super complex machines. They had the tool, but they couldn't use it. See, because they started with empathy, they were able to define the actual problem.
The goal wasn't more fancy incubators for hospitals. The goal was something cheap, simple, and portable that a family could use in their own village. A totally different and way more effective solution. Okay, so all of this, it leads us to our final and maybe the most urgent question of all. If this is our new reality, with AI as our tool and creativity as our superpower, how on earth do we need to change the way we learn and teach? I mean, it feels like overnight, tools like ChatGPT just exploded onto the scene, right? And it sent a total shockwave through the world of education. A lot of people are panicking about cheating, and their first instinct is, ban it, get it out of the schools. But Dr. Jang, he does the exact opposite. He doesn't just allow it, he requires it. He literally gives his students homework where they have to use ChatGPT to help them write their essays.
So why would you do that? Well, because it flips the whole script. Suddenly, the assignment isn't about just stringing words together. It becomes about critical thinking. It's about questioning the AI's output, fact-checking it, editing it. It teaches students how to work with this new tool, not just use it to cheat.
He has this great metaphor for it. He says AI is like a massive, powerful river, and you just can't stop a river. Trying to build a dam is just pointless. The only smart thing to do is to learn how to navigate it, learn to flow with it, and use its incredible power. And that really leaves us with one final thing to think about. The age of AI isn't on the horizon, it's here, now. The choice for all of us isn't about how to resist this change, but how we're going to adapt. So you have to ask yourself, are you going to try and build a dam? Or are you going to learn how to sail?